Greetings, my friends, and welcome. This is the New Thought Media Network. I am Ken Ludwig, and this is the Vibrant Living Hour. I hope you're having a fabulous day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. This is an hour about living your best life, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, whatever that looks like. And I hope that that's what you're enjoying today. I hope that's how your life is unfolding as your absolute best life. I'm open to suggestions. I'm open to talking about anything you want to talk about. And I know if you tune into the show, I can see that there are people watching. I can't see who they are, and I can't see where they're watching from because we stream on several different sites. We stream on 3 different Facebook pages. We stream on 2 different YouTube channels, one each for New Thought Media Network and one for me. And then on the Facebook pages, there's 2 of them that are mine, Vibrant Aging and my personal page, Ken Ludwig, and then also the New Thought Media Network Facebook page. So we stream from those 5 places, and I never know who's watching or where they're watching from. I can just see that there are people watching. So if you have a thought, if you have a comment, if you have a question, please feel free to just put it up in the comments, and I'll be glad to address it anytime, every time. I'll be glad to take a look and see what it is. I can see there's one person out there watching already here today that I can't tell who it is. So, and there's a couple of people there. As you pop on, make a comment or just say hello or just whatever. Ask a question if you got one. So, today it's, I've been talking a lot about what my beloved Lisa and I have been going through. We moved from Colorado, me after 46 years, 46 years, Lisa after 26 years. We moved from Colorado to North Carolina. I'm staying in temporary accommodations at my sister-in-law Amy's house and looking for where's our permanent home? We've been talking a lot about that, but what the subject really is more than anything else is not about our move. It's about change in general. It's also about that something we've talked about many times on this show, the idea of saying yes. And as we get older, the ability to say no seems to get easier and easier and easier because we're set in our ways. We have things that we do, and that's the way we do them, and that's the way we want to do them. And when somebody says, let's do something new, we go, no. So the biggest yes of my entire life was this move to North Carolina. And I've talked about this before. When I moved to Colorado when I was 25 years old in 1975, the summer before I turned 25, it was a piece of cake. I was 25 years old. Moving from North Carolina after 46 years at age 70, that's a whole different thing. So it's a big yes, yes, yes. But the subject is change. And change is something, there's a bazillion cliches. Change is the only consistent. The only thing that doesn't change is that there is always change. And change sometimes looks great. Change sometimes look like suck. But change is always something that is serving the next highest vision of me, the next highest vision of you. What are we going to become next? Or what are we in the process of becoming? That's what changes. And I think I read last week or the week before, excuse me, we're talking about gratitude, and I read something from Ralph Waldo Emerson, and it was cultivate the habit of being grateful for every good thing that comes to you and to give thanks continuously. And because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. Everything is contributing to my advancement, to my growth, to that next highest vision of me, which is what I always like to call it. But how do we get to that point where we are grateful for those things? How do we get to that point where we are always thinking in terms of, wow, this doesn't look so hot right now, but I know it's serving my highest good. I know that something better is coming to me, or that this is part of my life experience that is just going to lead me to what is my next good, my next greatness, my next advancement, my next growth. What is it that I use as a tool to get me to that thing? And I was thinking about that today. Lisa said to me earlier today, what's your show going to be about? And I said, you know what? I really don't know. Talked a lot about gratitude. I've talked a lot about this move. I've talked a lot about the yes thing. But as I went outside and thought about it a little bit before the show, and it really is just that idea of being, of learning to go to a space of always being in, I don't want to continually use the word gratitude, but always be in that space of knowing I am continually moving forward. I am always growing. I am always getting better. I was talking to somebody, I was talking to somebody just the other day. I was talking to somebody who was a friend of mine who was actually experiencing a real health challenge. And I was talking about sobriety. And I was talking about the idea that in my mind, in the 33 and a half years that I've been sober, my attitude has been since very early on that every day since I got sober, every single day, no exceptions, has been better than the last, better than the day before. That's just an attitude that I cultivated over a period of time, knowing that every sober day was that much farther away from the last time I was not sober, which was not a good time in my life. I was not a good person. I was not a pleasant person. It was not a pleasant experience. I had nothing good going on in my life at that time. Nothing good going on. But all of that was contributing to my advancement. All of it was contributing to my good. And now 33 and a half years away from that, I can look at that from a knowing that it served me in becoming who I have become and am becoming. And I know that it was for the good. I know that I have benefited many people who have trod that a similar path just by virtue of the fact that that was the path that I had trod. And I know I can do that. So how do I look at today's experiences? How do I look at the things that are going on in my life right now? Not things that were, the earth-shaking moments of like sobriety or changing an entire way of life from being a drug and alcohol abuser to being a sober person. That's a monumental shift. Easy enough to be grateful for the shift. Maybe a little bit more difficult to be grateful what preceded the shift, because I am who I am because of those experiences, not in spite of them. But that's true of everything in my life. That's true of every single thing that I have experienced in my entire life. It has all, in some way, shape, or form, served, as Emerson said, to my advancement. So the thing I was thinking about earlier was the idea of going to gratitude first. And that is, I'll tell you what, going to gratitude first is really it's a commitment. It's a process. It's a day-to-day thing. It's something that I have learned. I shouldn't say I've learned, because I am learning every single day that going to gratitude mitigates almost every circumstance that looks like less than fabulous. When I go through something that in that moment looks like suck, being grateful that it is absolutely serving my advancement, serving the next highest vision of me, being grateful first, that just mitigates it. It just makes me feel like, wow, it's not that big a deal. It's for my good. It doesn't look real nice right now, but it's for my good. And to take that the step further and to generate from that expectancy. Expectancy is my way of expressing that I know everything is serving my good. I know that good and more good is my experience. I know that everything that is unfolding in my life is for my highest good. It's for the next highest vision of me. I hate to keep repeating that, but that's what it's always about, because what I am right now is a higher vision than I was when I started this show 9 minutes ago. I hope that's the goal. Hi, Cheryl. I love it when people just simply make a comment. Say hi, folks. I can see you're out there. I can see your numbers on the wall, but I can't see who you are. So say hi. Hi, Cheryl. Glad you joined me. But that idea of the highest good, that idea of being grateful, knowing that it's going to get me there, knowing, and then living in that expectancy. Expectancy is not the same as expectant or expectation, because expectation and expecting things it's kind of you're putting limits on what's unfolding in your life. And they may be good limits. They may not be such good limits, but you are just simply saying to the universe, I expect this, and this. No, I live in expectancy, knowing that whatever it is going to be more than I could even imagine and better than I could even imagine. And my beloved Lisa and I have been going through a series of things here with this move. Lisa pointed this out to me. I did not get this at all. Lisa pointed this out to me. Let me have a sip of my coffee before it gets cold. We made this decision to make this move, and we started the wheels in motion. And the law of attraction absolutely has supported us at every step. We have attracted incredible sets of circumstances that have helped us to move forward, to look, to see the new things that we're seeing. Hi, Margie. How are you? From Colorado Springs. I am so thrilled to see you there. I think you're a first-time viewer. If you are, please acknowledge that. If not, tell me how long you've been watching. And are you a regular watcher of the New Thought Media Network? And if you have any questions about anything I'm talking about here today, please feel free to ask a question. I'm always game to answer those questions. But anyway, in this process of this move, we had it, it was absolutely a positive thing. We weren't running away from anything. We were going to what we were pretty clear was going to be a better situation. There's a lot of reasons why the Colorado that I fell in love with in 1975 was not the Colorado that I moved from in 2021. And that's neither here nor there. I wasn't leaving Colorado so much as I was just going somewhere else. I was seeking something, big quotes around better, a new experience, if you will. And again, the law of attraction started to present to us new things that were moving us forward towards this. We found we managed to get all of the people we needed, the equipment we needed, the boxes, all of the things that we needed to put together a move. They just seemed to appear. And it was simple and it was easy. And I've heard so many people talk about moving being an incredible hassle, and we had our own hassles. Don't get me wrong, nothing is perfect. I mean, the next hi, Eniko, so glad you're with me, darling. To me, the next perfect move is like the next perfect marriage, or wedding. The next perfect wedding will be the first one, because there's always something goes on, and moving is the exact same thing. I love you too. And again, I'm so glad that you joined us here today. And if you've got any questions or any thoughts about anything I'm talking about, please go ahead and ask or express it, because I am always thrilled to engage with whoever is watching. I love the fact that you're paying attention, and I love the fact that maybe something that I'm saying rings a bell or resonates with you, or you'd like to know something more about it. Back to the story here. So then in the process, of course, those of you who watch have heard this story, but my sister-in-law, Amy, said to her sister, my wife, Lisa, she said she lives on an acre of land here in Raleigh, North Carolina. She has a 1,700 square foot house, and she has a 750 square foot separate building that's her studio. But her studio also has a full kitchen and a full bathroom in it. And she said to Lisa, with absolutely zero solicitation from us, she said, "Why don't you guys move into my house and I'll move into my studio, and you just pay my rent. You pay my mortgage," which is 40% of the mortgage I was paying in Colorado. So it's a pretty easy deal to make. So here we are. We have a base of operations. This past last 3 days, Monday through Wednesday, today's Thursday, Monday through Wednesday, we were at a friend of Lisa's from her childhood, from growing up. One of her dearest friends has a younger sister who Lisa is also friends with. She's married to a lovely guy. They have 3 kids. They have this insanely gorgeous house in a town called Nebo, which is on Lake James. Lake James is a man-made lake it's a hydroelectric lake that was created by Duke Energy. Another story altogether. And I don't want to do is give any energy to Duke Energy, because I've never heard anything good about them at all as far as an energy company or anything else. That doesn't matter. This beautiful lake. These people they're in a little alcove of the lake. It's the most incredibly crazy designed lake you've ever seen. It's not a big round lake. It's like all kinds of jagged edges on both sides. It's long and skinny and goes off in these little tributary kind of things. But this beautiful house, and their entire lower level is put together as a place where someone can stay with everything but full kitchen facilities. And that's where we were for 3 days. And we got to look at different parts of North Carolina. But that was it was something that Lisa attracted that to our move, to this possibility here. And what has happened to me over just this past week is that I have gotten really tuned into the idea that I am incredibly aware of what we are attracting. And in that context, I know we are attracting the perfect loan. We are attracting the perfect house. We are attracting the perfect location, the perfect town. We went to several little towns over the last 3 days when we were in Western North Carolina. And really clearly, what we're looking for is a vibe. And I would never have really talked in those terms before, but that's what we're looking for. We're looking up for a particular feeling. Excuse me. And we've heard from a couple of different people that there are pockets, if you will, of North Carolina that are the vibe that we're looking for. And I don't want to get too specific, and I don't want to sound judgmental. I think the best way to describe it is the way I describe myself. I'm just an aging hippie, and what I am looking for is an old hippie vibe. We're looking for that kind of liberal, educated environment with a little bit of culture, some nice restaurants, some just nice social things. We found some extraordinary things that we've just stumbled on here in North Carolina. It's so different from what we were familiar with in Colorado. And again, attracting things that just have fed our soul. We went to, I think it's the Raleigh Museum of Art. I'm not sure that's the right words, but they did an outdoor presentation, an hour-long presentation of a Black nativity. Unbelievable. I referred to it as over. It was a joyful noise, the whole thing. There was drumming, there was singing, there was dancing, there were songs from the Black church that I have never even heard before, never recognized a note. But then there were some traditional nativity kind of songs, Christmas kinds of songs. It was just unbelievably beautiful. And then there was last week in downtown Raleigh, there was a festival. It was a Christmas lights festival. They were lighting up a tower for Christmas, and the tower is in the middle of an area it was in Durham, actually. It was by the Durham University. And we had a fabulous dinner in a little restaurant that overlooks the Durham Bulls baseball stadium, just kind of right on the edge of it. You actually sit on the patio, you watch a baseball game. Not a lot of games going on this time, of course, but we had a great dinner there. But we went to this lighting, and it was hundreds and hundreds, probably maybe 2,000, 2,500 people, all with their kids. And they gave out these little glow sticks that had a little button on it to change the direction of the glow or the color of the glow or whatever. And they gave one to everybody. And lots of performances by young people. Lots of dancing, a little bit of singing, but it was just joyful. Again, a joyful noise. And we have attracted to ourselves a new diversity that we were not used to in Colorado. And as I did, and I actually looked and I don't want to get deep into this, but it's just an idea of if I have these numbers right, and I think I do, Colorado is 85% Caucasian, 85% white. North Carolina, 64. 24% lower. And of course, that is almost entirely made up by the African-American population, which is 17 points higher in North Carolina than it is in Colorado, which is fabulous. And I find myself just being drawn into this diversity. Drawn into being surrounded by another culture, the Black culture, the African-American culture, which I love. In fact, we were at that little thing everybody had a glow stick, and there was a couple of little kids, a couple little Black kids that didn't have glow sticks. And my beloved Lisa and our sister-in-law Amy, my sister-in-law Amy, and myself, we all gave our glow sticks to these little Black kids that didn't have any. They just came in the wrong gate and didn't get one, I guess. Whatever the situation, but it's just a feeling of unity, of togetherness. I don't believe there's no such thing in my world as being colorblind, because it's not possible. The only way you can be colorblind is if you are physically colorblind. I can absolutely see that my African American brothers and sisters are darker skinned than me. That means nothing as far as whether or not I love and appreciate them as fellow travelers on this planet. And it just feels really good to be in that environment here in this neck of the woods. Cheryl just popped up here on the comments. She said she lives in rural Indiana, which I know obviously is very, very, very white. And she said she would love the diversity that we're experiencing here. And Cheryl, let me tell you, the diversity is cool is not the right word. It feels good. It feels warm. It feels enriching. It feels ingratiating. I loved sitting in the sun, and I'll tell you what, oh jeepers, what's the word? The diversity of this Black nativity the other night, the demographics of this was the exact opposite of the dynamics of Colorado, because it was 85% African American, it was 85% Black, and Lisa and I were in the distinct minority, and it was a thrill just to be there and to experience this incredibly diverse thing, And so that to me is also an available tool. Appreciation of your environment, appreciation of your situation, appreciation of the diversity, appreciation of these two cultural, if you will, events that we went to, one all very Afrocentric and the other one just kind of the general population of the city. It was great. And it's stuff that I've never done in Colorado. Just didn't have that, I don't know, that same sense. So it's really, as much as I loved my Colorado, it is really interesting to be here in North Carolina and to be experiencing these different kinds of things. And it's, one of the other things that I'm focused on is to constantly have a mindset where I am thinking to myself what I'm talking about to you right now. Appreciation, gratitude. Wow, this is cool. Isn't this great? This is different. I love it. To be in that kind of a space all the time. And what that is doing for me, it is feeding something that I've talked about before on the show. I've wrestled my whole life with purpose and my why, which is what we talk about all the time in my network marketing world. What is your why? I never had one. My why for why I did business was always to make money, and that's never a good enough reason to get out of bed in the morning. My purpose right now is to be a beneficial presence on the planet. I was talking to one of my business associates who also happens to be a friend, but I was talking to him the other day about a greeting I'm sending out to people that I had done business with over the years, several hundred of them. I'm just sending them out a generic kind of holiday greeting just to touch base with them. And he said to me, he goes, wow, that's reflecting of your desire to be a beneficial presence. I hadn't thought about it that way, but now I am thinking about it that way. It really is, because I'm not doing it to sell anybody anything. I hope hopefully people will respond and will remember and go, oh, Ken, I remember you. I would like to get some products from you or whatever. That would be wonderful. But it really isn't about that. It's because there's nothing salesy in my greeting. It's just simply wishing them a happy holiday season and a prosperous, healthy, and fit New Year. I'm hoping what it does. My buddy Larry Widhelm has joined us here from Hawaii. Good afternoon, my friend. Let me see. I got to do the math here. It is 2:30 in New York, so it is 11:30 in the morning there in Kauai. Is that true? Greetings, my friend. I'm glad you're with us today. And again, like I'm telling everybody, Larry, if you have questions or thoughts about anything I'm talking about here today, please make a comment, ask a question. I am absolutely wide open to discussing whatever it is the audience gets from what I'm talking about. That's important to me. I can see there are other people out there today on the show today. I can see you're out there watching. And like I said earlier, I get the numbers. I can see numbers on my screen. I just can't see where you're listening or who it is. So if you can make a comment, not at all of the places where we stream, you can't always make a comment that I can see. But if it's something I can see, I'll be glad to address it. Otherwise, I will address it after the show when I see it on either one of the 3 Facebook pages or the 2 YouTube channels that we do this on. That mindset, that attitude around always going to It really is. It's not so much gratitude as it is appreciation. Appreciate what's going on. Appreciate my surroundings. Appreciate my events, my circumstances, my experiences. Appreciate all the big things. It's easy to appreciate my health. I'm going to be 71 years old in 5 days, and I have some issues. I mean, as you get older, little things get taken away from you. That's just part of the aging process. Your body is not going to be at 71 what it was at 21. Damn it, but it's not going to be. And you just have to you have to appreciate your health at whatever place you're at. You have to be able to appreciate how healthy you are in the moment and accept your limitations, whatever those might be physically. But it's still appreciate your health and abundance. I am so conscious for the first time in my life, consciously appreciating my abundance. And it's not, I'm not rich. I'm not rolling in money. I don't have new cars. I'm so abundant in love, in friendships, in possibilities, in the businesses that I run, in the possibilities to help others. I am so abundant in the things that I represent and market to help other people. It's easy to be grateful for those things. It's really simple to be grateful for those things because they're big, but it's the little ones. It's the little ones. Lisa and I went to two grocery stores today. We went to Whole Foods. We went to the store here, the grocery store, the major grocery store we go to is called Harris Teeter, which just cracks me up. I'm one of these days, maybe when I'm done with the show today, I'm going to look it up and where the hell did they come up with the name Harris Teeter? But anyway, I mean, I just, me with my twisted, sick mind, I'm just like, okay, I get it's almost like a suckling thing, like the newborn calf goes and suckles on the teat. So we're going to Teats to get our food. That's my twisted sense of humor. I think I'll have a swig of coffee after that one. But it's the little things. It's the everyday things at the store today. We attracted the things that we needed that we hadn't thought about. We attracted that to us. Those things don't happen. They don't just happen. It's part of the ethos, if you will, of my life, of my existence. It's part of that appreciation and gratitude sense that brings you things to be appreciative of. I appreciate that I found, this is silly, but I appreciate that I found a little can of WD-40 in the grocery store today. Why? Because I needed a can of WD-40 and I was kind of not really excited about having to go to a hardware store just to get a can of WD-40. Especially since I have 2 cans of WD-40 in storage in a box somewhere. I don't know where they are, but they're there somewhere. Little things like that, appreciating them. I attract to myself the friendliest, the sweetest, and the most appreciative checkers in grocery stores of anyone I know. I never, ever, 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 ever leave a checker doing anything but smiling. Ever. You know how they look? You know how they never look at you? They just grab your first eye and they go, "Hi, how are you?" And you those of you who know me know my answer is, "Oh, I'm magnificent. I'm fabulous. I'm fantastic." And they and then I ask, "And how are you?" And they immediately up-level their response. I'm just great. I'm doing wonderful today. We had a young girl today at Whole Foods. She just laughed with us and giggled with us and had a grand old time. Now, granted, that's who she is. But we pressed the button. I pressed the button that ignited that part of her. That took her a level above just scanning items for checkout. I love that feeling of appreciating that. And I'm really doing that in a sense like I have never done it before in my life. I'm starting to really focus on being appreciative. I'm appreciating all of the things that are surrounding us. I'm appreciating looking for houses. I'm appreciating the very uncomfortable feeling of being home and not home. This is my office where we're doing the show. but it's not my office. It's Amy's office that I have all my stuff set up in. A good deal of that stuff is in boxes around me that you can't see. But I appreciate the fact that I have a base from which I can do this show, which is a big deal. I'm just reading a couple of notes I have here, so bear with me for a second. The other piece of all of that, of course, that you've heard about a gazillion times, on top of appreciation and gratitude, is to be non-judgmental, which is really, really hard for me in a new place, and to exercise a good deal of forgiveness. I actually today had a thought. I can't even tell you what it was because I don't remember it. That's how fleeting it was. A thought about someone who I had some kind of animus towards in the past. And I was so thrilled with myself that I immediately went to forgiveness. Forgave them, forgave myself for dragging it around all these years, and just let it go. And like I said, I don't remember what the hell it was. Yeah, I have no idea how much practice that has taken for me to get to that place where I can go immediately to forgiveness. And I think part of that was embracing a year or so, or 2 years ago, embracing the concept of Ho'oponopono, which is the Hawaiian concept of forgiveness. Basically, that's a way oversimplification, but the English phrases that I associate with Ho'oponopono is when I have that person or even myself that I have an issue with, then I just recite the 4 phrases. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And sometimes I have to say that like multiple times. Other times I can just say it once and it's done. Today I said it once and it was over. It was gone. Those are the key pieces. I think that's the main tools in the spiritual toolbox to keep the focus of my life on the positive nature of existence. Everything, as Emerson said, everything contributes to my advancement. It doesn't matter what it looks like right now. It doesn't matter what it looks like in the moment. It's all contributing to my advancement. It feels good to look at life from that perspective. Lisa and I went for a walk earlier today in a little park around a lake, Lake Benson, and it was early this morning. It was like 8:30 on a Thursday morning. Very few people out walking around a lake when it's whatever it was, 40 degrees outside. We certainly didn't see 10 people. People were starting to come in as we were leaving, but we spent an hour just walking around the woods in this lake, and it was just beautiful. And I just don't do this normally. I went to appreciating the lake, the trees, the beauty. I find, and this is a unique thing for me, I find great beauty in the fall and winter trees without their leaves, which we don't, in Colorado, kind of pretty much the aspen lose their leaves, the evergreens are all that's left, and there's evergreens everywhere. But in the East here, there's just so many varieties of deciduous trees that all lose their leaves in the fall and the winter. And so everything is just this dormant state, this revitalizing state. And I just learned, and today I just kind of leaned into the idea of appreciating that, how beautiful it is, how wonderful it is to be in that space. Yutka, my friend, thank you for joining me. I'm so thrilled to see your name there. Thank you for stopping by. And as I've said to everybody who I've acknowledged today, if you have a thought, a comment, a question you want to ask about what I'm talking about, please put it there in the comments. I will be thrilled to engage whatever it is that you want to know more about. So I think that's enough of all of that around change, around the idea of just. Yeah, a couple more pieces. Anna Maria, also glad to see you, Dawn. Thank you for stopping by. And as I just said to Yutke, if there's anything you want to know more about or a question or something, I'm thrilled to engage. So please ask. The idea of change that I really wanted to address today was it's a big thing for me, but it's so important, I think, that each and every one of us just figure out what it is that we have to do to shift our mind for any change. I'll tell you a quick business one. A person who I'm engaged with, who's also a friend, who's part of my business, is she had this woman who was really excited about joining our team, being part of the business, and it would have been my friend's first big sale, and she was really excited about it. And in the end, the woman decided not to pull the trigger, and she didn't do it. And my friend absolutely went to a whole different space. Rather than immediately being depressed or bummed that she didn't make the sale, she immediately went to all the things she learned in the process of dealing with this woman, which was for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 4. To learn to be able to have those tools in your toolbox, to take every situation, no matter what it is, no matter what it looks like, and to go immediately to appreciation, gratitude, and in some cases, forgiveness. But to go to appreciation and gratitude, that's huge. And that's what I really wanted to just kind of, the focus of today was to just to build that toolbox, to know you have those tools, to know you have the ability to do the transformation, to do the, this word is going to come to me when the show's over, to do I'm not going to come up with the word, but whatever it takes to transpose, if you will, the negative to the positive. I always used to, in a workshop I used to teach, I used to talk about my definition of awareness. That is when you have something negative on one hand. On the other hand, you have what I would call the spiritual solution, basically the positive thought or tool that will negate the negative. And my definition of awareness is the amount of time it takes to go from the negative thought to the positive that negates it. And when you get to the point where it's almost automatic, that is your full awareness of that particular subject matter, whatever that is. And you do that by building the tools, by filling your toolbox with the tools that it takes to be able to accomplish that, to go from the negative to the positive more rapidly, more rapidly, more rapidly, until it is automatic. It's what I do. It's how I respond. Do that with change, and you'll never be unhappy with any change that you have. You'll never be unhappy with it. And that's the thing that's really working for me, is the fact that I'm not unhappy with any of these things that are going on in my life that are changes. That's very true. I'm sorry, I'm reading a comment here. Excuse me. I think you're asking me, how do we do that? How do we help people to change? The way we help other people to work their way through change is to absolutely just model it, to do it ourselves, just like you would do in your business. Model what you want the people who are joining you in your business to do as well. Model it. The way you show other people how to be positive through change is to yourself be positive through change. And you can always make the subtle suggestion. What you can't do is make people wrong. You can't tell them, no, you can't look at it that way. You have to look at it this way. That'll never work. All that'll do is create resentment and antagonism. And people get defensive almost immediately when you tell them they're wrong, right? That's the way everybody is. What you really want to do is drop the subtle suggestion without making them wrong. So when they point out something, you know what, wow, that really sucked. And your response can be something like, yeah, it sure did look like it sucked, but there was this aspect of it, or this happened, or this person actually changed their attitude towards you. Something that would be a more positive way to look at the exact same situation, just through a different lens. Just make it look a little different. And that's how you help other people. But I think primarily it's all about being it myself. It's all about being that beneficial presence myself. For me to always just simply focus my attention on being that beneficial presence that always goes to the positive, that always, and it's not, and I don't mean to be Pollyanna. I don't mean to be, there's that metaphysical thing where, we do the spiritual bypass where we go, it's all good. No, it's not all good. Sometimes it looks like suck. But I have to go to that place of appreciation. You don't have to say it's all good. You don't have to say, oh, that lousy experience was wonderful. No, you have to appreciate the fact, as Emerson said in the quote from Emerson here, because all things have contributed to your advancements, you should include all things in your gratitude. Because all things have contributed to your advancement, you should include all things in your gratitude. And I'm just taking that a step further and saying, rather than gratitude, just go to appreciation. Start with appreciation. And then gratitude kind of comes a little bit more easily. In his great book, Power versus Force. Oh my God, it just went out right in my head. David Hawkins. I almost forgot who wrote Power versus Force. In his great book, Power versus Force, David Hawkins lists the, I think, whatever it is, a gazillion different emotional responses that we have to our circumstances. And part of his premise in the book was to always don't try and go from disappointment and self-loathing and guilt all the way up to courage and then self-love. Don't try and do that in one bite. Go from self-loathing to guilt, and from guilt to disappointment, and work your way. Try and make yourself feel better and better and better, little chunks at a time. Esther Hicks and Alexander and Abraham talk about that all the time. Just make yourself feel a little bit better. Whatever it takes to make yourself feel a little bit better. Sometimes situations are such that it's virtually impossible to make everything feel wonderful in the moment. Make it just feel a little bit better. What can I do to feel a little bit better about this situation? What can I do? Little bits at a time. I hope some of that made sense to you. I hope some of it, I hope you benefit from some of what I had to say there. I think we're being called historically here. We're being called by the universe to embrace change, because change is got to happen. All of this animosity and all of this divisiveness has got to lead to something bigger and better. It has to. And guess what? You and me, we are called to facilitate that. If you're listening to me, you are somebody who has in your consciousness the ability to want to help unify yourself with your brothers and sisters on the planet. And I don't mean just people. I mean every living creature, every sentient being in the universe. And trust me, when I said, we used to say, when you said sentient being, people are all about, thinking creatures. Not necessarily. There is consciousness in everything. There is consciousness in every living creature. As my friend Patty Lukenbach says, there's consciousness in the creepy crawlies. But there's consciousness in everything. There's consciousness in every rock. You're called to facilitate that next highest vision of the planet. You wouldn't be listening to me if you weren't called to that, because I know that's what we're here for. You'd be listening to some different vibe than what I have to offer. It is the holiday season. Let's do a little shift here. It's the holiday season. Everybody's buying stuff. We've had 2 years of nightmarish holiday seasons and gift-giving times and get-togethers and blah, 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 and all of that. And we're still not out of this, and we're not going to be out of it till, excuse me, till people get smart. And you can take that to mean however you want it to mean. But the people who have suffered the most are small business people, independent business people, entrepreneurs. Hang on, coffee time. The most convenient thing to do on the planet is to get on your computer and order all your presents via Amazon. I'm as guilty as anybody. But here's the thing. Amazon, its owner, Jeff Bezos, Amazon just gets bigger. Its owner just gets richer. This guy has so much money that he's throwing it away, flying his sorry being up into space and back for literally seconds, like 3 minutes. Kind of pathetic to my way of thinking, but that's just me. Frequent your local stores. Frequent your entrepreneur friends who are in business. I market and sell 3 different lines of health and nutritional products. Come and frequent my store, my websites. Go and find friends who sell things online, friends who have entrepreneurial businesses, and buy from them for this holiday season. Help to bring back the little guy from the depths of these last 2 years economically. The economy supposedly is doing well. Big business is doing great. There's tremendous demand and not enough supply. That's why the supply chain is so screwed up. That's why there are so many boats in the harbor off of LA and Long Beach that can't dock. And once they do dock, they unload their stuff and there's no trucks to take it to the next place. We just absolutely need to support the little guy and don't worry about the big guy. They'll always come out on top. They'll always work out fine. Final piece for today. It is the holiday season. It is a time of year when lots of people kind of change their focus to maybe more spiritual things, maybe in some cases more religious things. I'm not a religious person, but I am a very spiritual person. My connection to the divine is one-on-one. I don't really have any intermediaries to get me to be attached to the overarching creative intelligence of the universe, which I mostly choose to call God. I did a little research today. About 90% of the population of the planet, 85% of the population of the planet worldwide believes in some kind of a God. 90% of Americans believe in some kind of a higher power, and about 56% of those call it God. And I say it because I don't believe in the guy in the sky. I don't believe that that God is a person or a personality. I don't believe I don't even believe that God is a being. I believe that the overarching creative intelligence of the universe is an energetic. It is that love energy. It is a volitional energy that creates all and loves what it creates, and that is that never-ending perfect love of the divine that so many religious people refer to. But anyway, if you think about God at this time of year, if you worship a God, I don't care what your religion is, if you're all worshiping the same God. I mean, the reason there are so many pathways to God is because God is the only place to go. So it's, I don't care how you get there. We're all on the same mountain. We're just going up in different directions. We are all seeking that eternity, if you will. But I found this thing last week, I think, on the somewhere. I think it might have been sent to me from someone. I may have just found it on the internet. Stuff comes in from so many different places in this day and age. Who the hell knows where I got it from? But this is called Ways to Worship God. And I'd like to finish today on this piece. The ways to worship God. Feed him when he's hungry. House her when she's homeless. Hug him when he's broken. Heal her when she's sick. Mourn with him when he's grieving. Laugh with her when she's rejoicing. Welcome him when he's seeking asylum. Care for her when she's widowed. Adopt him when he's orphaned. Visit her when she's in prison. Sing songs to him in church. That's last on the list. Those are different ways to worship God, because God is in each and every being that you see, each and every single living creature. God is in the all. Everything you see, every bit of creation, everything is simply God in expression. You are God in expression. I am God in expression. God experiences itself in, through, and as its creation. That's you and me. Remember, always remember, please, and if you've got any comments or questions here before we get done for the day, we've got about 10 more minutes left here. Please, if you've got a question or a comment, throw it out there, because I'm glad to entertain those. I've told you many times, I'm always glad to entertain those things. I want you to know that to remember that New Thought Media Network is a nonprofit organization. We thrive on your donations. Please go to ntmedia.org and click on donate. Whatever it is you have to give, we are thrilled to receive it and are very appreciative of your generosity, especially at this incredible time of year. So that would be a thrill if you would take us up on that. My show is sponsored by, where's my little bottle? My little bottle's not here because I took it with me this afternoon. Yes, it is. Here's one of my little bottles. My show is sponsored by Hempworx, the most extraordinary CBD products on the planet. You can find CBD anywhere. There are people buying CBD in gas stations. Let me tell you something. If you're buying your CBD in a gas station, you're making a big mistake because you have no clue what's in that bottle. All of our stuff is third-party validated as to concentration and to purity. So you just get the best products you're going to find anywhere in the world. Go to my page and check it out, hempworx.com/Ken Ludwig. There are 8 other brands that are associated with that same group on that page. Please just go there and check them out. Be wonderful to have you, get something for a friend, get something for a relative or a loved one from an entrepreneur like me for the holidays. If you want to find me, go to teamrocketnow@gmail.com. That's where you can send me an email. You can find me on my Facebook page, which is just Ken Ludwig, or you can also find me on my beloved Lisa and I have a branded Facebook page called Vibrant Aging. You can find me there as well. That's it for me. That's all I got for you today. I'm going to check the comments one more time here. Anybody before we go off the air, if you got a comment, I thank you all for watching. I am always just so grateful for the incredible gift of your time and your attention. I wish you all the love and all the blessings that the universe has to offer. I hope you will join me next Thursday, 4:00 Eastern, 2:00 Mountain, for another episode of the Vibrant Living Hour. But until then, my friends, namaste, and I love you. Thank you.